welcome to come to the gallery and visit that. We'll have it open for a little bit after the meeting. And upstairs, I have to give a shameless plug for Joyce. We do have the historical and genealogical part upstairs as well. If you don't have your family history represented in our library, please put your own little family tree together and add that. We'd like to have everybody represented in the county up there. You'll get a folder to start with, but you can bring a binder in and you can go immediately to some of the bound volumes on the wall. So I invite all of you to do that. My name is Marla Jones, and I'm a staffer here at the Lawrence County Museum. I also serve as the Lawrence County historian. And I want to certainly give a special welcome to the students, parents, teachers, and administrators are here today, the society members, as this is our monthly meeting. And a special welcome to the Mitchell family. And on the front row, we have them sitting ducks here for us. But, we have Phil's daughter Kim, his wife Judy, son Scott, and daughter-in-law Barb. So thank you so much for coming. And it means so much to be able to honor Phil in this way. There's a lot of things we could all say about Phil. Certainly he meant a lot to our organization, but there's someone that knew him very well as a co-worker and as well as a board member. And I've asked him to speak, and that's Ken Hackney. So I'll turn this over to Ken.
Good evening. I'll get emotional here, I'll let you know. I'm probably the only guy here that can say he worked with Phil for 39 years. So, you talked about a guy that was dedicated. He loved the city he grew up where. He loved Williams, he loved Lawrence County, he loved this museum. It meant a big part to him, his church, and his family. We all miss him. He was very dedicated. And my last 15 years at the plant, we worked together a lot in quality. And I've never seen a more dedicated man to putting out a good product. And one thing that this plant is very proud of is we never had a product made here that was a cause of a recall. And that means a lot if you understand the automobile business. So, but Phil was a role model for people to get involved. He was an unbelievable volunteer. He volunteered for the Lions Club. He volunteered here at the museum, the church. I'm sure I'm missing some places, but he was just a great guy to be around. And it broke my heart the day I heard the news. So thank you for being here. And let's honor these kids too. And I wanted to say one thing. The Excellence in History brochure that you see, it made me think when I looked at it too for Phil Mitchell, that could also be excellence in life. And so I really cared for him.
So we're going to segue right to our essays. So this may not be a long night. I know you'll be upset if we don't give you a long time, but you may have to cut it a little short. So I will introduce the young folks who are winners. That would be the 3 honorable mention, the 3rd, 2nd, and first place winners. And we ask them to come forward one at a time as a call and to read their essay. Dr. Creighton will then award them with their certificate, their medal, and their cash prize. At the very end, we'd like to get a picture of all of them together so maybe they can come back up. When you're finished, you can sit down and we'll call up the next one. So of the 3 honorable mentions, we had, well, I should just say that we're just so grateful that all these kids participated. And they took time to be inspired by the objects, the artifacts, and the individuals that are represented here in the Lawrence County Museum. And that's special to us, to see kids in awe as they walk through the museum, to learn things they never learned before. And I know that Phil would be deeply touched by this. Hold on a second. Come on in. Yeah, come on in. We're just getting started.
He's a talker.
The essay committee and the judges were thoroughly enjoyed reading all of the submitted compositions. And, you know, you could tell that object-based learning is alive and well because the students didn't just talk about the objects, they learned from them and wrote things that, you know, aren't necessarily represented here in the museum. So we know that they had done their due diligence. We were very proud of them. And it was hard to narrow it down to this field. In fact, we were just going to give 3 awards, but they were so good we decided to give honorable mentions as well. And so that made 6 honorees for tonight. And we're very pleased with those 6. Certainly, there's a scoring matrix, so much for having the words, grammar, you know, how they approach the subject, this sort of thing. And that's how we narrowed this down to the finalists and then eventually the winners. So without further ado, I'm going to call up Amelia King. She did an essay discussing the Hale & Company piano. If you're familiar with the gallery at all, the piano is probably one of the very first things you'll see when you go into the gallery. It's on the left-hand side, and it's a parlor piano. And it's your essay, so I'll let you discuss it a little further. Thank you.
I did an essay on the Hale & Company piano. It caught my eye when I walked into the museum, so let's start my essay. The 1885 Hale Company piano at the Lawrence County Museum of History is much more than just an instrument. It was the beginning of a new era in the piano industry. The Hale Company was founded in the year 1877 by the man Joseph P. Hale, also known as the father of the commercial piano. Hale's method of business created pianos that were high quality and affordable to middle-class families. The Hale Company influenced the piano industry with their innovative manufacturing process. Hale dismantled a piano and evaluated the most efficient way of creating each part so that he could reduce the price of the pianos he sold. Hale commissioned all of his piano's components through subcontracted workshops and constructed them on the factory's assembly line. Hale cut his labor costs to less than half of what his business competitors paid by distributing the work among people who were experts at their jobs. Joseph P. Hale's new production and merchandising system set a new standard in the piano trade and sparked industry growth from 25,000 piano sales in 1869 to approximately 350,000 in 1910. Joseph P. Hale's approach to manufacturing pianos taught his business competitors how to make them more affordable and made ownership possible for people of all economic levels. Hale's influence accelerated growth of the industry and became the model for future piano merchandising and manufacturing schemes. It's clear to see why Mr. Hale earned the nickname the father of the commercial piano.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to hand it to you. And your award. Let's look right here at Mr. Thank you.
Yeah, that was fantastic, and we're just at the cusp of the iceberg. So, the next student honoree is Abigail Starks, and she discussed the angel crowns.
My name is Abigail Starks, and I did an essay on the angel crowns.
On what?
Angel crowns.
Oh.
Angel crowns are natural phenomena that are unexplainable by science. An angel crown is a circle of feathers found in a feather pillow after someone has passed. Angel crowns are made when a male or female passes away and they sleep on a feather pillow. Other names for angel crowns are death crowns, death wreaths, or heavenly crowns. Almost everyone had feather pillows and Appalachian homesteads, so angel crowns were more common than they are. Most families would most likely have had a farm with animals like chickens, roosters, geese, etc. Families would have these animals so they would be able to fill their pillows with the feathers from their animals. The phenomenon is recalled from the hills and valleys of Appalachian homesteads, and since many families who lived in Appalachia migrated north and settled in southern Indiana, the phenomenon came here with them. The quills on the feathers are always pointed inwards. Angel crowns are thought to be a symbol that represents the person that has passed away, a sign of their love. These crowns are about the size of a bird's nest. This phenomenon is found where the man or woman's head was placed on the pillow that they died on. Now that we are more advanced in technology, we almost always have materials like foam and synthetic fibers inside our pillows instead of feathers. So now feather pillows are considered a luxury in today's world. In conclusion, angel crowns are a natural phenomenon that are unexplainable by science. Angel crowns are cherished by their families. Sometimes the feathers are even donated to historical museums, much like the one found in the Lawrence County History Museum.
So the next student that's listed in the program is Laylan Young, and she is ill this evening and will not be attending. So we looked over the crowd and found a person that's about the same height as Laylan. And I identified Kathy Hackney, and so we're going to have Kathy come up and read this for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. She's right, I have to stand on my toes. The Josie doll was made in 1878. This doll has a dress that was inspired by Minnie Carlton Gould, a dress she wore to her sister's wedding. Who gave it to Minnie, and why is uncertain, but we do know that when it was given to her, she was 8 years old, according to the Lawrence County History Museum. Minnie was born in 1870 in Shawswick, Indiana. She was the youngest of 6 children. She went on to get married in Bedford, Indiana. She also had many children, worked at a preschool, and became a leader in her church. Sadly, Minnie died in 1951 in her daughter's home. This doll is special to me because of my first impression of the doll. It's easily overlooked in its overcrowded glass case, but like many overlooked things, it has so much more than what meets the eye. Like many other dolls in its time period, its face is made of porcelain and has very light, fair skin. But what is unique about this doll is its dress. Many dresses made in this time period are extravagant and whimsy, but this dress is so beautifully simple. The dress is tiers of brown fabric with pure black lacing in between, makes looking at it seem more like looking at a masterpiece of art and not a doll's dress. This doll is a key piece of Lawrence County history because this doll was given to Minnie in a time that had many terrifying events happening in the county, such as yellow fever coming to the U.S., a war in a different country, the chance the U.S. would be dragged into it, women protesting for rights. We could all use something like her doll, something that represents that even if the world around her changed, she could always cling onto something constant and unchanged. And that, even if the world changes, Minnie doesn't have to. And she could still be the same sweet, kind Minnie that shines her light wherever she goes.
So in third place, we have Elizabeth Mitzke, and she did an essay discussing the John Thomason, Bedford's first mayor.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Miska, and I did John D. Thomason, Bedford's first mayor. John D. Thomason was the first mayor in Bedford. He was an influential part of our town's history. John helped create Bedford in an interesting way. He was born in Virginia on December 26, 1812. He left Virginia to pursue a better life in Bedford. He started his own business. He married his wife on April 20th, 1834, and had one daughter. He became a trustee for one of the schools that led him to become a mayor in 1889. He died only 2 years later on June 22nd, 1891, at the age of 78. Thomas was mayor for 3 months because he decided to devote his time to his own business. He was one of the harshest mayors the city has had. He used a cane to knock off merchants' displays into the gutter around the courthouse, now known as the town square. This action was not liked by the cleaners and businesses. Many people resented him for this, but seeing how brilliant the place looked afterwards, they gained his trust in him. There is a picture at Lawrence County Museum of History with John, about 75 years old, leaning on a gold-topped cane with a wooden bottom that he used to knock off the items on the sidewalk. The cane that was in the picture was gifted to him from the railroad company, but was later gifted to his friend at John's deathbed. It is now being preserved at the Bedford Museum and other artifacts, including a matchbox from the city office and a matchbox glass holder with little bumblebee embellished on the top. In conclusion, the story definitely caught my attention, and I thought it was a very nice and interesting topic. I know now I have always passed by his tombstone many times and never known that our first mayor is buried in Green Hill Cemetery.
So our second place recipient, she was also the spelling bee champion of Lawrence County, is Ethan Pajayan, and his essay is about the Josephus King violin. Here, it's okay.
Within the Lawrence County Museum of History lies the Josephus R. King violin, a significant artifact that represents fine craftsmanship of quality instruments. It also serves as a cultural relic, acting as a symbol of preservation and appreciation for classical music. I wanted to delve into the fiddle's origin and the history it holds. The violin has a rich history and was cataloged by Craig Nykirk at the museum on October 19, 2017. It dates back to 1642 and to this day is in great condition. As the name implies, it was originally owned by Josephus Rule King, a Civil War veteran. He served as a Union soldier from October 25, 1864 to August 8, 1865 in the 17th Indiana Infantry Regiment. King acquired this fiddle from a pillaging Confederate soldier on the Flint River near Anderson, Georgia. This was on May 10, 1965. Josephus' violin was donated to the museum by Mrs. Hobart King as a gift in Huron, Indiana. The instrument itself is of Italian origin and has the name of the maker on the inside of the violin, Messina. The front was crafted with one solid piece of spruce pine wood, whilst the back and walls of the fiddle are both composed of curly maple. The scroll of the fiddle lacks extra fine finishing, but is said to produce a soft and delicate melodic tone when strung. Its dimensions and weight were measured at the museum. The entire violin weighs about 24 ounces, with a width of 8 inches, depth of 3.5, and a length of 2.24. A majority of this information was found in Josephus' handwritten note that was composed in 1927. In conclusion, the Josephus R. King violin not only stands as a representation of Valerian classical music, but also holds a prolific history and heritage. It is a notable and remarkable artifact that made me want to delve deeper into its historical background.
And then finally, our first place recipient, who did an essay discussing Gus Grissom, is Claire Edwards.
My name is Claire Edwards, and I wrote about Gus Grissom. Have you ever wondered how a small county in southern Indiana can make a huge impact on the world? One example of this would be Gus Grissom. He made waves in the astronautic field and many more in his home in Mitchell, Indiana. Virgil Ivan Gus Grissom was born on April 3, 1926 in Mitchell, Indiana. He had a good childhood and worked a few odd jobs here and there. He started at Mitchell High School in the fall of 1940. In his spare time, he would go to the airport in Bedford, where he developed an interest in aircrafts and aviation, fueling his career. He was an average student and graduated in the spring of 1944. World War II had started while Gus was in high school, and he couldn't wait to join the military. When he was a senior, he enlisted into the U.S. Air Force. He was discharged in 1945. He attended and graduated from Purdue with a Bachelor of Science degree in 1950. After graduating, he re-enlisted into the Air Force just in time for the Korean War. Grissom and his squad were dispatched into the field of February of 1952. He flew the amount of missions needed to be discharged and asked to stay longer, but was not allowed. After a while working military jobs, he received a message telling him to go to an address in D.C. and not discuss it with anyone. He later learned that this was for Project Mercury. He was sent to New Mexico for testing to make sure he would be good for this project. Out of 110 people, he was one of the chosen 7. Because of this project, he became a great symbol of Lawrence County until his death on January 27, 1967. He died during a test launch for Apollo 1. He was the second person in space, and while he might not have been the most well-known astronaut, he was certainly the one that had the biggest impact on Lawrence County and its amazing history.
So that concludes the essay portion of this. Now the song, no, I'm just kidding. No, I just agree to thank you so much to the Mitchell family for letting us honor Phil in this one. I know he meant the world to you, and a lot to us as well. So thank you so much for sharing him again in this way. I do want to thank all the participating students on a job well done. Like I say, these were phenomenal essays. As you can see, just from the top 6, you can imagine what the pool was. So, special thanks to the committee members, but especially the judges, because they really had the hard work. I do want to thank the teachers and the administrators who not only answered questions, but encouraged the young people to be involved. And we had several field trips, parents dropping off kids, and it was nice to see so many inquisitive minds and faces here in the museum asking questions about just everything here. So it's a museum reimagined for us, so that was just wonderful. I don't have anything else this evening unless someone has something for the good of the order. Seeing, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank you. Everybody give Marla a round of applause.
Like everyone associated with the museum, it's a labor of love. You know, you wouldn't do it if you didn't enjoy it so very much. So, thank you. So what I'd like to do is have the young people who won tonight to come forward. If the Mitchell family would like to have their photograph with them, that'd be fine. If you don't, that's okay too, whatever you choose. But I would like the young people to come forward. And, you know, when I think back about myself in junior high and high school, I didn't stand up and speak a lot in junior high. I gave a report much like this in 8th grade. That was the first time I was on Theodore Roosevelt. But I tell you, I had to eat a lot of humble pie because I wasn't used to speaking in front of so many people. But you know, it made it easier when I was in high school to speak to folks, and it's made it easier across the board my entire life. So, you know, it's nice to have these young folks have this opportunity. That way, when they're interviewed or in this situation later in life, they're going to shine bright just like they did tonight. So thank you so much to all of you. So if I could have the young folks come up, and that way we can get some pictures taken, and then we're going to be dismissed unless you have something to say.
Just thank you all. That would be honored.
Thank you. So can I have the 5? Kathy, did you want to be in the picture? Okay. Just the 5, that would be fine. Would you folks want to be in it as well? I can have you one of them by themselves first. Okay.
Get them first.
That's all right. Ethan, you move over just a little bit. I think we've got it. All right, you ready, guys?